Hello and welcome to Razzmatazz with Rashi. My today's guest is an acclaimed writer who has won the coveted Women of the Year award in 2015 for her writings on women empowerment, equality, rights, and liberation on a blog trulyyours.Roma.com, and the prestigious Planet's Pride Award in 2018 for her entrepreneurial venture RCA, where she has been passionately grooming 6 to 60 years old for the last many years in an endeavor to give back to the society and aid in shaping the future of India. After a 10-year successful stint of working in Tata Motors, Honda Cars, and IKEA of Sweden in different parts of the world, she eventually embraced her first love of aiding people bridge the gap between their intellect and expression. She is the brand ambassador of 21st century education and strongly advocates learning beyond books. She is an author of 5 published books, and writing on a blog is like breathing to her. She believes she is born for a purpose and yearns each day to be the face of positive change in the society she lives in. She also writes exhaustively on kids and women's mental and physical health. To My Grandchild with Love is the 5th book after her first release, Dare to Defy the Destiny, a non-fiction did really well, and her second, a chicklet romance, The Fragrance of True Love, which was a soulful tale of 2 resonating hearts, and it became a bestseller. Her third book, Destiny's Favorite Child, which is her candid autobiographical account, is her most read book. Women empowerment is a subject closest to her heart, and thus her 4th release was known as Empowered Women Empower Women, that was published last year. All her books are available on Amazon. So let's welcome our today's author, Roma Gupta Sinha.
Hi everyone, my name is Roma, and apart from being an author and a blogger, I'm also a communication skills coach. Thank you, Rashi, for making me a part of your wonderful show. It's such a pleasure being here, darling. So guys, today I'm here to talk about my 5th book, which is a very special book. It is a book with a purpose. In fact, it is a piece of my heart. It is called To My Grandchild with Love, in which I have documented our lives during these COVID-19 times and the lessons that we are learning a hard way in the form of letters to my future grandchild, because my son is still small. It is basically a lot of candid discussion I would like to have with the little one several decades later. Since I didn't want to miss any single detail and leave a keepsake for the future generations, this was my sincere endeavor to jot down what all did we experience when we were stranded. Like me, my husband and my son, we were stranded in Gujarat for 83 days, and we have only reached our home day before yesterday, and it indeed was a battle of its kind. So I really felt a very strong urge to document these times, and that is why this book came into being. It is called Raving Reviews from a lot of readers, and I would really like you to give it a read, because I'm sure you're going to relate and you like to leave a similar prodigy for your future generations, right? So do give it a read, dears.
You have chosen such a realistic and interesting topic to write. Definitely, you would love to share the stories of this global pandemic with our future generations. So tell us, Roma, when did you start writing and what keeps you going?
I started writing at a very young age, probably when I would be around 6 years old, I guess. And that's probably because when I was this small, I had to live with my maternal grandparents, as my dad was posted in a small village as a banker and there were no schools there. So when I used to be very overwhelmed with emotions, and miss my parents a lot, my maternal aunt, who's a fantastic writer, she now lives in Canada, she taught me it's absolutely fine to feel like this, but the best way to channelize your emotions is to pour them out in the form of words in a personal diary. And that's where I got the hang of writing. Every day before going to sleep, I used to write all that I felt, and when my mom came back, I used to show it to her and tell her that how I missed her. As I grew up a little, being a small town girl, the pathetic plight of the women around me baffled me, and I felt very strongly to write about them, to be their voice, to prick the conscience of the patriarchy in India. And so I began writing for my school magazines, for newspapers, and till today, writing is like breathing to me. There is no other way I know. Right? So it naturally comes out of me. It keeps me going. It is my lifeline. The day I'm writing, I'm happy. The day I'm not, I feel something is lost. Normally, I get up at 4 a.m. every day, and the first thing I do is I write for 1 hour. Whether or not I publish it, I write, and that is my magic mantra always.
That is so inspiring, Roma. Like waking up so early every day and then writing. Now, coming back to your book, it's so interesting that I just can't wait to hear a few lines that you have written, or maybe just a letter that you have written to your grandchild.
I can really understand. Some of you may find the idea of writing these letters to our future grandchildren a very, very bizarre idea. But to me, to the weird me, actually, this idea really appealed, and I wanted them to know more about us through these letters, to remain alive in their hearts many, many, many years later. So I really penned them with a lot of soul, and they are indeed precious pieces of my heart. In this part, I am going to read out to you the second chapter of my book. Why this chapter? Because it kind of sets the foundation of why at all in the first place I chose to write about these difficult times to the coming generations. This letter is written on 2nd April 2020 in Vadodara at 5:12 a.m. and it is addressed to my grandchild Anne, which is a hypothetical name. I have given him or her. It's a gender neutral name, and I really wanted to have a name to the person to whom I will be talking day and night during the time I'll be penning the manuscript of this book. So here the letter begins. Hello again, dear Anne. Granny sends your way tons of blessings and love, my child. I don't know how you look or if you are a boy or a girl, but I can still see you smiling at me. And need I say, there can be no greater feeling than to visualize holding your child's child, even if it is only in my thoughts as of now. Do you look like your mom or your dad? Either ways, you are priceless to us. I hope I shall hold you in my hand someday and maybe hand over these letters too to you, my little joy. So I continue telling you about our battle in coronavirus times. We were in Delhi, my child, at our home when the news of the increase in the COVID-19 cases first came. It was March 2nd week. We have our office on the ground floor and we live on the top floor. Unfortunately, one of our office staff who has just returned from her sister's marriage contracted high fever and cold, which are the preliminary symptoms of COVID, and we had to shut down our Delhi office as a precautionary measure. Since your grandpa has his main office in Vadodara, he decided to operate from there for a few days to keep the business running. as taking a flight was not an option and he did not want to leave behind me or your dad either, so he tugged us along and we undertook the longest road trip of our lives. The traveler in me was appeased for three reasons. One, I have never been to the state of Gujarat before. Second, I won't leave your grandpa alone in these times. And third, my only brother lived in Ahmedabad, which is just 1 hour's distance from Vadodara, and I will get to meet him after years. So we started with our routine backpacks, having a few sets of clothes, and drove straight 1000 plus kilometers and reached Vadodara after meeting my brother on the way in roughly 15-16 hours. Never did the thought that we are commencing a new battle struck us. A battle, one of its kind. A battle all of you should know about, and that you can do by reading this book, which is available free for download for a limited time on Blog Chatter website. The link will be shared with you by Rashi. It was a pleasure being here with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful, Roma. I'm sure people will enjoy reading your stories of this pandemic time. It was really wonderful having you on my show. Thank you so much. And now stay tuned as I come up with another author in my next episode. And keep watching Razzmatazz with Rashi.